Saint Faustina, a prophet of mercy. This is the title of our talk from the series Mission of Mercy. We will start with the question who a prophet is in general, what is so characteristic about the mission of every prophet. We will ponder why we can call Saint Faustina a prophet. The last point is our own participation in the prophetic mission of the Church. Who is a prophet? A prophet is a person who can look at reality through God's eyes and simply draws the right conclusions with God's wisdom. A prophet isn't there to predict the future either. He looks at the present with God's eyes, evaluates the past with God's heart, and recognizes the future consequences of what is already happening with God's wisdom. God uses every means to enter into a relationship with man. He also uses people whom he invites to a special closeness to lead others to an intimate encounter with him in the depths of their hearts. God makes himself known more deeply to one person in order to make himself better known to the world. He uses the ordinary man to reveal himself to others in different ways, depending on the historical context. After all, he knows that the human capacity to comprehend is limited. The Old Testament abounds with prophets who spoke on behalf of God, conveying God's message to the chosen people. Among them are Moses, Abraham, Amos, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Jonah, or Ezekiel. Each of them has been given a particular mission by God, a specific message for the time. Importantly, prophets often felt unworthy and too weak to undertake the mission entrusted to them by God. However, knowing that they were to communicate God's words and not their own thoughts made them obedient instruments in the Lord's hand. They believed that God was the one who had called them to a specific task. He also empowered them to fulfill this mission. Prophets are like pearls that reflect the radiance of God's light and love. This is also the case in the New Testament. The most perfect prophet is Jesus Christ, our Lord, who most fully revealed God to man as a merciful Father and accomplished the work of saving the world. All the baptized share in his prophetic mission. However, above all, God chooses individuals who have a unique mission to fulfill. In this special way, God gave Saint Faustina extraordinary experience of his merciful love and prepared her to undertake a prophetic mission. Saint Faustina's mission began with the first revelation of the merciful Jesus on February 22nd, 1931. For 7 consecutive years, Jesus made her more and more fully aware of God's merciful love for people and delegated the tasks involved in this mission. As time passed, Saint Faustina discovered more and more clearly her prophetic vocation. Jesus assured her, "As often as you want to make me happy, speak to the world about my great and unfathomable mercy." It's Diary 164. She herself felt responsible for the conversion of many souls and wanted to run through the world like a missionary and speak about the great mercy of God. This prophetic vocation shaped in her a particularly intimate relationship with God. Jesus explicitly called her a prophet when he said, "Today I am sending you with my mercy to the people of the whole world." I do not want to punish aching mankind, but I desire to heal it, pressing it to my merciful heart. Diary 1588. And she replied, O my Jesus, speak to souls yourself, for my own words are insignificant. Beautiful. These words perfectly illustrate the elements of the prophetic vocation. It's God's initiative, a call by name, a specific mission. Saint Faustina heard God's words addressed to her. She was given a mission to proclaim the message of mercy to the world, and all this was accompanied by a sense of unworthiness. The eschatological aspect of her mission also supports her recognition as a prophet of our time. God speaking to her was revealing the essence of his person, which is love and mercy, wishing to give himself eternally to everyone. This is the God everyone wants to meet. This is the God everyone longs for, God of mercy. The discovery of such a God is a turning point in the life of an apostle of God's mercy. It prepares us already here on earth to meet him face to face in eternity. Jesus said to his secretary, "You will prepare the world for my final coming." Now the prophetic message of God's mercy, the prophetic mission, was revealed to Saint Faustina in mystical experiences and charismatic visions, and also voices characteristic of prophecy. The first of these revelations changed her life forever. On that evening of February 22nd, 1931, Saint Faustina had a vision of Jesus in her cell, which is considered the origin of the Divine Mercy image and the whole devotion. During the vision, Jesus instructed her to paint an image of him with the signature, "Jesus, I trust in you." Jesus also specified precisely that the image was to be venerated first in your chapel and then throughout the world. Thus, her mission took on a public character and was to extend its reach to the whole world and to all people. The content of Saint Faustina's prophetic mission is to bring the message of mercy to the whole world. At the heart of this message is a reminder of the biblical truth of faith regarding God's merciful love and a call to proclaim it with renewed strength through the witness of one's life, actions, words, and prayers. An integral part of it is the devotion to the Divine Mercy in the forms that Jesus revealed to her and to which he attached great promises. These include the veneration of the image of Divine Mercy, the celebration of Divine Mercy Sunday, praying the chaplet to Divine Mercy, praying at 3 p.m., called the Hour of Mercy, and number 5, spreading of the message of mercy. God entrusted this great mission to a theologically uneducated, simple but very humble sister. He often chooses what is weak and even foolish in the eyes of the world to reveal to humanity the great mysteries of his love. Now is the time of mercy, which man should take advantage of before the day of justice comes. The intercessory motive is also typical of the prophetic vocation. It is evident in Saint Faustina's life. She has repeatedly been an advocate, even a hostage between God and people. The power of her prayer was expressed in appeasing God's just wrath and extending mercy to the world. It can be said that it had a special place in the heart of Jesus, who said, "If you did not tie my hands, I would send down many punishments upon the earth. My daughter, your look disarms my anger. Although your lips are silent, you call out to me so mightily that all heaven is moved. Diary 17:22. She also encountered misunderstandings and rejection of this message repeatedly from others, which was a source of deep suffering for her. Despite this, she was not discouraged and did not cease in her prayers and sacrifice for the whole world, especially for those who had lost their trust in God's mercy. Great pain was caused to Saint Faustina by the difficulties of her superiors and confessors in accepting her mission. However, accepting these reactions with faith, she always obeyed the representatives of the Church. She was convinced that God worked through them, even though he did so in a way that was incomprehensible to her. This heroic attitude of obedience confirmed the truth of her mission. In the midst of many dilemmas, she had the inner certainty that God Himself was entrusting her with the mission of mercy. He also sent her priests who were able to understand her experience and provide appropriate guidance. It was Father Michael Sopoćko, her spiritual director in Vilnius, and later Jesuit priest Father Józef Andráš, who reassured her as to the authenticity of her spiritual experiences. Her patience and trust in God's will were particularly tested in connection with Jesus' wish to paint an image of the merciful Jesus, to establish the Feast of Mercy in the Church, and to found a new congregation. In these cases, her struggles fostered in her heroic attitude. Ultimately, all the struggles led her to complete surrender to God's will, for this is what a prophet does, who is merely a communicator of God's wishes. Saint Faustina entrusted herself to the Lord in this way. From today onward, your will, Lord, is my food. Whatever your fatherly hand gives me, I will accept with submission, peace and joy. I fear nothing, no matter in what direction you lead me. Helped by your grace, I will carry out everything you demand of me. I have placed all my trust in your will, which is for me love and mercy itself. From this moment on, I live in the deepest peace, because the Lord Himself is carrying me in the hollow of His hand. Diary 1264. It was God's will that she should initiate God's great work in the Church, but not necessarily bring it to the full fruition. It is God who is the Lord of time and history. It is to Him that she surrendered her will. The prophetic mission entrusted to Saint Faustina continues to be realized in the modern world. The premonition she wrote about is coming true. She said, I feel certain that my mission will not come to an end upon my death, but will begin. The message of mercy is carried to the farthest parts of the earth by those involved in the Apostolic Divine Mercy movement, which arose from Saint Faustina's charism and spiritual experience. And this is the new congregation that Jesus desired. Saint Faustina's charism is winning over more and more apostles who live the spirit of trust in God and mercy towards their neighbors in their daily lives. At Saint Faustina's canonization, Pope John Paul II emphasized that the message of mercy given to our saint and recorded in the diary is God's gift to the Church and the world for the third millennium. Our participation in the prophetic mission of the Church. By virtue of the baptism, every baptized person participates in the mission of the Church and in the mission of Christ, the King, Priest, and Prophet. With faith and the grace of the sacraments, we are to bring Christ to our families, towns, and the wider culture. The faithful are sent out from Mass to go and serve Christ wherever life takes them. They are very much in the front lines for Christianity, to consecrate the world, to make it holy. In the Catechism of the Catholic Church, we read that lay believers are in the front lines of church life. Therefore, they in particular ought to have an ever clearer consciousness not only of belonging to the Church, but of being the Church. We also read there that the laity act prophetically when they speak the truth and live the gospel by example before their families, neighbors, and co-workers. Their mission is accomplished in the ordinary circumstances of the world. Beautiful. Our life is a true mission. Each of us has a role that no one else can fulfill. Let us therefore pray for ourselves and for all the apostles of divine mercy, that we may be faithful to our calling and would bring to the merciful Jesus also others. We are not alone. Saint Faustina also intercedes for us and rejoices in us. May the Lord bless you, and Saint Faustina, pray for us. Yes.